Welcome to the Excel Mastery Series, where you learn Microsoft Excel from beginners to advanced. In today's video, Excel for Absolute Beginners, learn the basics in 18 minutes. I'll walk you through everything you need to know to get started with Excel, from understanding the interface, working with rows and columns, to entering data, formatting, and writing your very first formulas, whether you're a student, job seeker, data analyst, or professional looking to boost your productivity. This tutorial will help you gain the confidence to start using Excel like a pro, so grab your laptop, open Microsoft Excel, and let's dive right in. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next episode in our Excel Mastery series. Now, let's dive in.
Alright, when you open your Microsoft Excel, you are most likely to get to this place where you see other functions, you see a recently opened document, and you see your blank workbook and other templates. When you click here, you see more templates. Here is the favorite, which means if you make any of these recently opened documents favorite, when you open it, you are going to see that favorite in this place. And let's make any of these favorite. Let's say student certificate. I click on it, and that's when I get here, you see that student certificates is in the favorite. That means anytime I open this workbook, I'm going to come to favorite and see all those favorite documents right here. Alright, having explained this, let's get into the interface of Microsoft Excel proper by clicking on the blank workbook. And when we click on blank workbook, automatically we open and enter into this Excel interface where we have the title bar. Here you can search, you have the minimize, the close, and here you have tabs which we are going to be getting used to as we progress in this Excel Mastery series. Below each tab is ribbon, which displays the function of each tab. Here is the home tab, and here are the functions of the home tab. If I go to insert, you see the functions under the insert tab. Below the ribbon is the name box, which displays the name of the active cell, which is A1. Here is the formula bar where we enter our formulas and displays the data in the cell. We have our columns, which is A, B, C, and so on, and we have our rows, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. Here is the spreadsheet which is made up of the cells, which is the column, and the rows, and there are over a million cells in this particular data sheet. And then here is what we call the active cell. What's the active cell? Is the active cell that allows us to enter data into Excel. Whenever you want to enter data, you enter data in the active cell, and we have one active cell per time in Microsoft Excel. Now, coming over to this place is the name of this sheet we are working on, and this is called sheet 1. And this plus is where you can add as many sheets as possible. If I click on it, sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, and here is the navigation bar, which you can move right and you can move left. This is also the navigation move up, and you can move down. And on this sheet, you can rename your sheet by double clicking here, and maybe you call it a student. Maybe you can call it a student. You can call it students. You can call it student details here in this sheet, and that becomes the name of the sheet. Also, if you can come to this sheet, right click and go to the rename, and you can also call this students results. That can also be the name of the sheet. Another thing you can do here is you can right click on it and give it that color, any color of your choice. You come over to this, select this, any color of your choice. That way you color the sheet, and then you can also understand that particular aspect. And that is our basic Excel interface. Moving over to entering and editing your data in Microsoft Excel. Now let's learn how to enter and edit data in Microsoft Excel. Here is a student resource sheet, and let's say, for example, you want to enter other student details here. We start over with the student ID, go over to this, click, and then you type in AD1001. Let's take, for example, that's the student ID. You press the tab key to move to the next cell, and you enter Jane Edwin. Let's say we type in Jane Edwin, move to the next cell by pressing the tab key again, and then you fill in the remaining details. And for the sake of this video not to be long, we are going to do that fast. We have entered all this data into our resource sheet, and let's say, for example, we notice that this is in cap letter, and we want all of them to be in proper case. What do? We can come here and click. Either you press the F2 button or you double click to enter into the cell, and then we can come over to this place, delete this, and then type it in small letter, and also do the same to this as well, to remove this and also type it in small letter and hit enter. We have edited this in Microsoft Excel. And let's also tell, for example, we want to get our students' serial number to ensure that we have serial number to tell us the exact number of our students in the class. We can come to this and insert a new column or a new role in Microsoft Excel. Then come over to this place, click on your A, head over to this option here. You see insert. When you click on this, you see what you want to insert. We want to insert a columns, you click on insert sheet, automatically you get that done. And here you can enter this serial number, and that is what we have. Also here, the serial number, we want it to be 1 2 3 4. We enter 1 and then hit enter, enter 2. Instead of typing 1 2 3 downwards, it will take us time. What do? We highlight the 2 cell, come over to this option. You will see a very small block here, which is the auto fill handle. Once you get to that place, you click, hold and drag, or you double click to fill in the rest, and automatically we have our student to be 10. And also you can as well, if you want to create more serial number, you can as well drag down to this place. Let's say we want to create serial number up to 20, and that is our auto fill handle. Also you can decide to add rows in between any of these. You click here, go to insert. When you get to insert, you can decide to add sheet rows. Once you click on it, you can also automatically see that the rows have added. If you want to insert columns as well in between any of these, just feel free to also go to this and insert columns. You see that is already inserted in between. Now to get our sheet back, we can use Ctrl C to get it back to where it is, and that is how you can insert your columns. You can insert your rows. You want to delete any sheet, you can come over to here, select, come over to delete. You can delete your sheet row, or you right click as well to delete. If I select this, you see that is deleted. Also if I come over to this and right click and go to delete, that also is deleted. The same way you can do that to columns and rows, and that's how you can enter and comfortably edit data in Microsoft Excel as an absolute beginner. Now in basic formatting, we are going to see how we can format our data sheet in order to look beautiful. We are starting with our column headers. Let's say for example we want to bold our column headers. What do? We click on it and then we click on bold. Now if we are to do that one after the other, that will take us a bit of time. We can select all the column headers and then go ahead and click on bold, and then we have added the color. As also if we want to add some text color to it, we select them, come to this text color and then select any color of your choice. Let's say we are working with blue, that becomes our column, and that we want a background color. We can decide to add any of the background color, any of our choice from what we can see here, and that we can work with this background color and then come to the text color and make it white as well. That also becomes a very beautiful aspect of our text color. We can also look at this. Let's increase the font size so as to make it a bit of header. We can come over to this A, that's to increase font size, or you come to this to select 12. If you select 12, that increases. Next step, we use this, that increases to 12, and then we want to add borderline to border cell border to our column headers. We come to this place, click on that. We can select all border. When we select all border, you notice there is borderline to it, but we want the borderline to be white as well so that it can be visible. We come to this as well, move that to more borders, and this will display. We come to this and select white, and then come over to select this and then select this, and when we say okay, so you see that our line, our cell borders have white border as well, that we can format and make use of what we have. Also we can also come over to this, select this entire cell, and we go to cell style. When you come to cell style, you can select any of these. You see different colors as regards to what we are working with. You select this depending on your choice. Let's say we are good with this, you click on it, that you have applied basic formatting to this. You can as well drag it down to this to fill the rest, and that is because of the auto fill handle that have replicated the remaining stuff. We also say Ctrl C, that is, we don't want that. But if we want all these to be applied, we can select all of them from the cell and then come to cell style and make it and select this. That way we have all of them in it. Also we can come to borderline and then come here and say all border. When we select all border, you see that the borders have displays. We can also come here and come to more border and then do the same we did. White, select this, and then we have our borders to be white. We have formatted our text and it looks a bit beautiful. But the problem we have here is that the stuff we see here, we cannot really see the full names and what we have here. How are you going to do that? You can come over to this B and C. Click when your cursor is like this. Click, hold and drag. That's what you drag it. That's what we call manual fitting. But that is not the best way to do it. The best way to do it, if it's like this, like you see me do, if you double click, it gives it what we call auto fit. So if I double click here, it makes it auto fit. Now let me come over to this. Double click, it gives you the auto fit for this particular range. And one of the things you discover is that while in this, when I double click and then I need to also come over to this place and do the same thing over and over again. That takes me time. I can come to this place between 1 and A, and click. Once I click on it, I can double click anywhere in between the column names. So I can come here and double click. Automatically it gives me the feed for every of my data sets. Now I can read them with ease, and that is what we call adjusting cell width and text alignment. Now let's say, for example, in this particular place we have this admission date, and I don't want this admission date like this. Let's say we have this as space is admission date. I want this date to come under the line. I can use what we call the wrap text function. So when I click on it, I come over to this place. You can see this is called wrap text. When I click on it, automatically it brings this one down for me, and that way I can click on this and make it center align, and then make it to align middle. You see all these have align middle. This is middle. This is center align. This is middle align. This is left. This is right. This is top. This is bottom, and that is your basic formatting as regards to Microsoft Excel to make your data look very attractive. Now let's master basic Excel formulas and functions. Here is still our resource sheet, which is formatted. We have added, we want to calculate the overall average, overall total mass score, mass mean score, total number of students that wrote exam. And to do that, let's go over to our results, and to get the average score, we click on this. Please, I want you to get this in Microsoft Excel. Any formula, any function, any analysis that we want to do, we must begin with a quality sign. Any transformation must start with a quality sign. So we put equals to calculate the average score. We can open our parentheses, and we take this plus this plus this, and then we close our parentheses, put the division formula, and divide by 3, which is the average test score, the total sum divided by the total number. And when you hit enter, we have this result. However, you can notice that this takes us time. What if we have up to 10 tests that we took in semester or what have you? Are we going to say plus plus plus? However, let's make use of the average function and calculate it with ease. We can type equals and type average. This function displays here. We double click this to select the average, click on this and drag across this place and hit enter. That gives you the same result. And then to do that for the rest, you simply come over to this, come to the auto fill handle. When you get to this small block here, your cursor will turn up like this, and then you click and drag down, and that will calculate the rest for you. The same we do for total. We are going to say equals, so we can say this average plus this exam score, and we hit enter. That calculates our total for us. We can also do it this way by saying equals to, using the sum function, and then we double click on this, come to average and select across exam total and hit enter. We have the same result. And also we can come over to this and use the auto fill handle to drag it down, and that becomes our basic formulas. You can follow this using the minus sign, the plus sign, the division sign, and what have you. Now let's calculate our average total. Under this is our average total score. We can, for us to do this, instead of writing those formulas and functions, let me introduce us to this powerful feature called the AutoSum. We can come over to this, press this, and then select average. When you click on average, automatically it highlights it upward, and you hit enter. That calculate the overall average test score for the student. Now let's calculate the total score for the student overall total. We come to this place as well and say, instead of doing this, instead of saying equals to and all that, we can do that same aspect here and select the sum. That does the same thing for us. We hit enter. It gives us the total sum. Also, we want to know the maximum score. Which of these score is the highest in our stuff? We can come over to this and still use the same function, and then come to max, and then it does that. We hit enter. It shows us that the maximum is 70. The same way to get for mean, we can come under the mean here and use the function called mean, type this, and then to double click on this and drag, come over to this, select and drag down to this place, hit enter. It shows us the minimum score. For us to know the number of students that participated in this exam, we make use of the function called count. We select equals and type CU. The function comes out, that's count. You double click on it, come over to this range, select and drag down and hit enter. It shows us that total number of students that wrote this exam is 10. Paraventure will delete one out of this. Automatically it shows you that now the total number of students that wrote the exam is 9. And that is simple basic formulas and functions in Excel. Alright, now we are going to learn how to save, how to print, and how to export our Excel data sheet. So let's still on the student resource sheet. Let's say, for example, we want to print this out. To do that, we select the area we want to print. Let's say we want to print this area. Having highlighted it, we go to file. On file, we come to print, and then we come to this print area. If you notice that this is not all the data we want to print out. You come here and you see that we have page 1 of 3, which means we are going to move around to see all these. Now let's say, for example, we want it to be in the same, to be on one page. We can come over to this, is on portraits orientation. We can select landscape. When we select landscape, we notice still yet not all the sheets, not all our data are in the same sheet. We come over to this place as well, where there is, we say no scaling, click on it, and then select fit sheet on one page. Once we do that, we see that all our data is in one sheet. Then we can go ahead to print and all that. That is how to set up your worksheet to print either in one page or multiple pages. Heading over to how to save your work. You want to save it in PDF and then export it and what have you. You go to file, come to select save as. Your document comes up. Let's say I want to save it on desktop. I click on my desktop. This is admission list. I can call it, say student. I can say student results as the name of the file. That is in Excel workbook. If I want to export it or export it in PDF, I come to save as data type, click on it, come over to this place and select PDF. Automatically that will be saved in PDF. If I click on save, then my work is saved in PDF and ready to be exported. As we can see, that is our work in PDF format, where we can send it to printer and print it out. Now that is how you can save, print and export your data in PDF. And now over to the bonus tips for this particular Excel tutorial. Let's say, for example, our manager comes and he says this student ID are not in the correct format. We need to edit it under the correct format, which is 7, 8, 9, 10, and fill up the rest. All we need to do is highlight these 2 cells, and once that is done, you come over to the auto fill handle, hold it, and then drag it down to where you want to stop, and automatically Excel fills the rest for us with ease. And that is bonus tip number 1 for this particular video. Over to bonus tip number 2. Let's say, for example, you want to prepare a weekly report that's Monday to Sunday, and then as against the month of the year, you can come over to this place. You type in Monday. Now once you type Monday, you move to the next. Are you going to be typing Tuesday, Wednesday, and the rest? That will take us some time to do that with ease. You come on Monday and then click on the auto fill handle and drag it down to Sunday. Automatically Excel fills the rest for us because it recognizes the days of the week. Now let's do the same for the month. You type in January and then you also go to the auto fill handle here, automatically drag it down to December, Excel fill that for us. And let's take, for example, we now want to get the week 1, week 2, week 3. We can come over to this place. We select these 2 cells, go over to merge and center. We can merge it together and then come over and we call it week 1. And hit enter. This is week 1. How do we get week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4? In order to get that, we just need to highlight this instead of copying and paste. We just highlight this in this manner, come to auto fill handle, and then we drag it down and stop at this place. Automatically we can see Excel does that for us. We see week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and that is our bonus tips for this tutorial.
Congratulations! You've just taken your first big step into mastering Excel. Now that you understand the basics, it's time to move on to the next level, where we'll explore real-life Excel functions, formulas, and data analysis tools that can transform the way you work. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Soluma Institute of Tech and Management, your home for practical, easy-to-follow tech and career tutorials. Stay tuned for the next episode in the Excel Mastery series, because your journey to becoming an Excel expert starts right here.